Promise Neighborhood Initiative is an initiative to ensure that every child in the central neighborhood has a great preschool through college experience and that all children are college going.
What's really important here is that we are all part of a community that has to take care of each other. And those of us who are ever advantaged enough to be able to see the needs of others have not only a responsibility but a challenge and actually a gift. It's a gift to be able to turn around and say where and how can we support those who are in greater need than we.
That's what I'm here for, to try to help kids understand that it don't have to be as bad as they think it is. And you need your education, because I preach it to my grandchildren. Make a life for yourself, because your parents and grandparents or whoever else is not going to always be here. So if you don't make the strive for it, we can't do it for you.
You know, they're starting to rebuild the houses. It's not as much crime. They're turning into, you know, a nice place where people from all over can come and enjoy this. So I think that's a good thing, because the kids need to see better so they can do better.
Well, the community's role is supporting the children in the neighborhood through Promise and making sure that each child has a right to a good education, all the opportunities in the neighborhood that such as what the Sister Charities provide as health. And we want to make sure that each child gets the best that they should have coming to them.
No one entity can really solve all the problems of the community. So collectively, you stand a better chance of really making strides and improvements. So once you have a collaborative effort from all those stakeholders and community residents and community grassroots organizations, you know, you have a better chance of improving the kids' lives from an academic standpoint, from a health standpoint, from just an overall improvement in the lives of not only the kids, but the residents of Central.
This is a neighborhood with tremendous opportunity. We have one of the few neighborhoods in Cleveland that has a very high residential population and a wonderful presence of community organizations. What we didn't have was a kind of coordination of all the efforts to bring the residents together with the institutions.
I see the biggest success that the initiative has fostered thus far is bringing everyone together and doing it in a harmonious way.
I have had the privilege of talking to residents very directly, having lots of deep conversations with them about what's important in their neighborhood, what they would like to see change. Because after all, I really feel it's been wonderful that they've given us permission to be a part of their neighborhood and to help support the change that they would like to see in the neighborhood.
I believe in the Cleveland Central Promise neighborhood because it's based on a model that works. And that is why there are more than 50 partners, funders, and providers like Cuyahoga County who are committed to working together in the Central neighborhood.
And say whatever the need is you have, we're going to try and fill that need so that your pathway from the cradle to college will be fulfilled.
And it didn't happen overnight, so I think these relationships, if you go back, you'll find that a lot of these relationships have been germinating for a number of years. And there's been a conscious attempt and a conscious effort to build networks and relationships.
We have to break the cycle of persistent poverty that can only be done through education. These wonderful kids can learn and learn well and go to great colleges and be successful and come back and restore their neighborhoods to the great neighborhoods that they once were.
And this robust partnership is aligned with the city's mission and vision for the Cleveland Metropolitan School District as we remain focused and steadfast in transforming neighborhood schools throughout the city of Cleveland.
So at the core of Promise is how do we change the neighborhood in a way that we're going to ensure that all of the kids who are here, 5,000 children under the age of 19, have a chance to have a great quality education and go on off to college and career.
This neighborhood in particular, with CSU and Tri-C right here with tons of programs that actually help people. These institutions can make a phenomenal difference in the lives of residents.
With CMHA, we're doing new housing development in that area as part of the Choice neighborhood. And I think if you're going to build new housing, you're going to have new development, education is a key in doing that. And the Promise neighborhood brings forth, I think, some outstanding educational opportunities which will make that neighborhood a better place to live for all the residents in that community.
We've been very excited about the partnership because we believe that the Central Promise is critically important. They're addressing the right issues at the right time. And
because it was so consistent with RPM's giving, we just felt that we had to be a part of it.
Just anything that our students need to help them be ready to learn and prepared to learn. The Promise is able to provide that for the students.
What we expect is our children to go to a college, our children go to a trade school, our children to do something to help themselves, you know, staying out of trouble, staying out of jail.
We believe that every kid deserves a chance, and that some kids are born into families and communities where they're starting out with some challenges, and it takes a village to give those kids the opportunity they need.
I want to go to college. I really do want to go to college so I can learn and get my education. You could go on to the next grade and get your education, then go on to high school and college.
Personally, what Promise means to me is hope and opportunity for this community. This is an extraordinary moment. We've worked very hard for the last 2 years. This is really, I think, a day that we're going to look back on 20 years from now and say, yeah, this is really the moment when we were able to start to really make the change in the neighborhood and make the transformation and make Central the great neighborhood that it was intended to be.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise. Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
Our promise.
This is our promise, one we intend to keep.